I would like to hear your views, Commissioner, on how either a yes or a no vote is going to affect the question of enlargement of the EU. In particular, I'm interested in the enlargement of the countries former Yugoslavia. And that's the first part of the question. And the second part of the question is, in the event of those countries becoming part of the EU, what steps do you think that we as Labour women can take to, or within the EU, women within the EU, can take to ensure that the result of that is genuine benefit for women in Yugoslavia, or former Yugoslavia, or any of the enlarged countries, given that economic liberalisation has actually been quite a negative experience for women in those countries?
This is a very important and relevant question because it is connected to the arguments and the discussions on the new treaty as well. Formally, nothing changes with the new treaty in the way decisions are taken about enlargement. It is exactly the same. All countries have to agree unanimously on any enlargement. So nothing changes in the decision-making process, and that is exactly what is regulated in a new treaty. Then you can say, if we have enlarged already so much from the old treaty, from the existing treaty, to what we would like to see in a new treaty, of course, you can say that it makes it easier if we adapt from being 15 members to 27, that we adapt the rules we have to take decisions so that we are effective and also that we are more democratic and we adapt to a changing reality. And this was the whole idea behind, of course, that we have already become so many new members. And that will help us to deliver, because the legitimacy we get from taking the right decisions to show to citizens that we can solve problems they have. And that's the only way we can be legitimate, that we are there to help to solve together the problems that we share. So from that point of view, it is important and to allow also the European Union to grow, because next in line is, of course, the Balkan countries. We want to see them also become new members of the European Union. We know that that will help us and strengthen and, again, maintain peace in Europe. So they are have already lined up. And the Turks, of course, and Turkey has been lining up since 40 years back. So, I mean, we have been in a process of negotiating or sort of discussing with Turkey how that could happen. We will probably go on for many, many years still until Turkey is ready to become a member. But nothing is changing when it comes to the decision-making. All countries have to agree, and they have to fulfill the same criteria. They have to make sure that they can defend human rights, that they have democracies, that they are open markets, that they have a judicial system that functions. All of these criteria that we ask them to respect. And that is the same for all countries. And as you know, this is very controversial. In some countries, Turkey is seen, the Turks is seen as a big threat or something that they don't want. And that goes also for France, where they have a difficult discussion, and other countries as well. So it will continue to be controversial, but the decision-making will be exactly the same as today. It requires all member states to agree. So it's the same. And I think what Farage probably refers to is that he wants to make it look like a threat, that this is something that can sort of pave the way. But the procedures are exactly the same. I think that this is it makes me very humble that we have been able in such a short time to stop the divide into an East and a West in Europe. That we are 27 member states around the same table. I mean, instead of just thinking of how long it takes and what kind of bureaucracy it creates, I must say it makes me very humble. The ministers from all these very different countries sit around the table, identify the environmental problems, for example, and agree on legislation, laws that will help us to tackle everything from climate change to wastewater treatment. And that is really such a huge achievement of the European Union. And the way it has cleaned up Europe, the way it has pushed for consolidated democracy in these new countries, it's enormous. And women, because now they can say, well, but there is a legislation in EU and you have to transpose it into our legislation. It is also protection for us. And we must connect. We must make sure that we create the networks and the support and the help also to these women especially. That's how I see it.